joints are very much important for various movements, and they are the supporting structures for our body for movements. Ball and socket joint, hinge joint, pivot joint, then the gliding joint and the saddle joint. Tetany, it causes rapid spasm, that is wild contractions in muscle due to low calcium in body fluid. Gout, it is an inflammation of joints due to accumulation of uric acid. Hello everyone, welcome back to session 6 of this chapter called Locomotion and Movement. Myself, B. Shobha Rani from the Department of Biology, Vidyashram Pre-University College, the Temple of Excellence. Hope you remember in the last session we were learning about the last concepts of this very interesting chapter called Locomotion and Movement about joints. So now let us learn furthermore the remaining concepts of joints in this particular session. Types of joints. As I said, joints are very much important for various movements, and they are the supporting structures for our body for movements. Now, as you have already seen in the last session, the different types of joints like the pivot joint between the vertebrae, then the hinge joint, that is the elbow joint, then the saddle joint between the carpal bone and the first metacarpal, then we have the plane joint, condyloid joint, then the ball and socket joint, that is what we call it as the hip joint. Now let us understand about the different types of joints, that is the fibrous joints, cartilaginous joints, then the synovial joints, and we have the ball and socket joint and the gliding joint. So we also have the hinge joint. Now let us study one by one the different types of joints, that is first one called the fibrous joints. The joints formed by the very word itself will tell you, fibrous, by the dense connective tissue in the form of sutures to form cranium. Such kind of joints does not allow any movement. So here we find that the fibrous joints, the joints formed by the dense connective tissue which is in the form of sutures to form cranium, such as kind of joints does not allow any movement. Cartilaginous joints. Here the bones are joined together with the help of cartilage. We all know cartilage is nothing but the soft bone. Cartilage is the soft bone. They are found between the adjacent vertebrae in the vertebral column, and it belongs to this category and it permits limited movement. Even the vertebral column movement also is not that much like how we make use of the hind limbs and the forelimbs. I think maximum we make use of the forelimbs and the hind limbs. The movement of forelimbs and hind limbs is maximum when compared to the other movements. So fibrous joints, the joints formed by the dense connective tissue in the form of sutures to form cranium. Such kinds of joints does not allow any movement. Then cartilaginous joints, here the bones are joined together with the help of cartilage and they are found between adjacent vertebrae. As we know, there are 26 vertebrae in the vertebral column. In the vertebral column belongs to this category and it permits limited movement. Moving on to the next, synovial joints. Here we have the different types of joints. Here we can see the different types of joints here. A, B, C. Then here you can see the joints. Right. So synovial joints. It is characterized by the presence of synovial cavity filled with fluid found between two bones. Hence the name synovial joints. So it is characterized by the presence of a synovial cavity, synovial cavity filled with fluid found between two bones. Such arrangement allows considerable movements which help in locomotion and many other movements. So the synovial joints, it is characterized by the presence of synovial cavity filled with fluid found between two bones. Such arrangement allows considerable movements which help in locomotion and many other movements. Now let us study about some examples of various types of joints. So synovial joints, it is characterized by the presence of synovial cavity filled with fluid found between two bones. and such arrangement allows considerable movements which help in locomotion and many other movements. Now let us understand some of the examples of various types of joints. Like we have the first one called ball and socket joint, second one is called the hinge joint, third one is called the pivot joint, and the fourth one is called the gliding joint, and the fifth one is called the saddle joint. So what are the types of joints? Ball and socket joint, hinge joint, pivot joint, then the gliding joint, and the saddle joint. Ball and socket joint is found between humerus and pectoral girdle, femur and pelvic girdle. So it is found in the shoulder bone and the pelvic girdle. So that is the pelvic girdle, pectoral girdle and pelvic girdle. So ball and socket, as we know, maximum we make use of shoulder joint and the hip joint. So ball and socket joint between the humerus and pectoral girdle, between femur which is the thigh bone, and the pelvic girdle. Hinge joint, just like for example the knee joint, the elbow joint, the forearm joint or limb, all these are called as what? Hinge joints. For example, like the doors will have a hinge joint. So the opening and closing, the flexibility is made possible by the hinge joint. So in a similar way, the knee joint, I think maximum we bend our legs, we stretch our legs. So the movement is maximum in case of limbs. So even in the hand, the elbow joint. So the hinge joint consists of the knee joint, that is the knee joint, elbow joint of forearm or limb. Next comes the pivot joint. Pivot joint is the joint which is found in the vertebrae of the vertebral column. That is the first vertebrae called atlas and the axis vertebrae. So pivot joint between atlas and the axis vertebrae. Gliding joint between the carpals. Saddle joint between carpals and metacarpals. So what are the types of joints? What are the examples for the different types of joints? Ball and socket joint found between humerus and pectoral girdle, femur and pelvic girdle. Then hinge joint between knee joint, elbow joint of forearm or limb. Then the pivot joint between atlas and the axis vertebrae. Gliding joint between the carpals. Then the saddle joint between carpals and metacarpals. Then moving on to the last concepts of this very important chapter called locomotion and movement. So disorders of muscular and skeletal system. So just like how we have disorders of the digestive system, the disorders of the respiratory system, we also have disorders of the muscular and skeletal system. Now let us study what are the disorders of the muscular and skeletal system. This is also very important from examination point of view. First one is called myasthenia gravis, second one is called muscular dystrophy, third one is called tetany. Now let us understand what is myasthenia gravis, muscular dystrophy and tetany. Myasthenia gravis, it is an autoimmune disorder that affects neuromuscular junction leading to fatigue, weakening and paralysis of skeletal muscle. So myasthenia gravis, this is the one which is usually asked in the examination. So the very important disorder of muscular and skeletal system is myasthenia gravis. What is it? It is an autoimmune disorder that affects the neuromuscular junction leading to what? It leads to what? Fatigue, tiredness, then weakening and paralysis of skeletal muscle. So obviously the movement will be affected. Next, muscular dystrophy. It is a progressive degeneration of skeletal muscle, mostly due to genetic disorder. So due to genetic disorder, the movement, I think you might have come across many of people suffering with muscular dystrophy because it is a progressive degeneration of skeletal muscle. Day by day, the skeletal muscle will not function, mostly due to, and it is a genetic disorder, right from the, and usually it might be even a congenital disorder. So tetany, it causes rapid spasm, what we call it as wild contractions in muscles due to low calcium in the body fluid. See, even calcium level also should be maintained in a proper manner in our body fluid. So tetany is one such disorder of the muscular and skeletal system which causes rapid spasm like wild contractions in muscle due to low calcium in body fluid. Sometimes you might have seen the muscle beating. So that rapid spasm in muscle is due to low calcium in body fluid. So what are the disorders of muscular and skeletal system? One is myasthenia gravis. What is it? It is an autoimmune disorder that affects the neuromuscular junction leading to fatigue, weakening and paralysis of skeletal muscle. Then muscular dystrophy, it is a progressive degeneration of skeletal muscle mostly due to genetic disorder. Tetany, it causes rapid spasm, that is wild contractions in muscle due to low calcium in body fluid. Then arthritis. I think this is a very common disorder which many people will suffer. So fifth one is arthritis, sixth one is osteoporosis, seventh one is gout. So the remaining arthritis, it is the inflammation of joints. See here you can see rheumatoid arthritis. So wherever the joints are there, you can see the inflammation. These are all the joints. Here you can see. This is the normal. See here normal will be like this. Here you can see the joints. So arthritis is the inflammation of the joints. Then osteoporosis, it is age-related disorder characterized by decreased bone mass and increased chances of fractures. It is due to decreased levels of estrogen. So when decreased level of estrogen is there, then it will lead to osteoporosis. So it is an age-related disorder characterized by decreased bone mass and increased chances of fractures. Then it is due to decreased levels of estrogen. Gout, it is an inflammation of joints due to accumulation of uric acid. So when there is an inflammation in the joints, it may also be due to accumulation of uric acid. So what are all the disorders we have come across? That is, one is myasthenia gravis, muscular dystrophy. What is myasthenia gravis? It is an autoimmune disorder that affects the neuromuscular junction, leading to fatigue, weakening and paralysis of skeletal muscle. Next disorder is what? Muscular dystrophy. It is a progressive degeneration of skeletal muscle, mostly due to genetic disorder. Tetany, it causes rapid spasm, that is the wild contractions in muscle due to low calcium in body fluid. Then we have arthritis. It is the inflammation of the joints, where like how you can see in the picture, see the normal joints and the arthritis joints. So osteoporosis, it is an age-related disorder. Mainly it is characterized by bone mass. I think you might have come across when we go for a bone test, the bone density is measured. Based on that, they will assess whether the bone is strong or weak. If it is weak, it means the bone density is very less and calcium level is less and the chances of fracture is quite common. So it is an age-related disorder characterized by decreased bone mass and increased chances of fractures. It is due to decreased levels of estrogen. Gout, it is an inflammation of joints due to accumulation of uric acid. Hope you all have understood this wonderful chapter called locomotion and movement. See how important. So most of the chapters that are included in first PUC are almost related to the human body, and the study of all such concepts is definitely going to help us to understand our body mechanism. May it be like the body fluids and circulation, may it be the locomotion and movement, then like we have come across even breathing also, breathing and respiration, right? So now let us understand how important all these concepts are from learning point of view or from knowledge point of view. So in this particular chapter called locomotion and movement, we have understood what is locomotion. Locomotion is nothing but the movement of the whole body or shifting of the whole body from one position to another position is called as locomotion, whereas movement is the movement of the body parts, may it be a hand, leg, is called as movement. And we have studied the very important different types of movements like the amoeboid movement, flagellar movement, ciliated movement. Then we have come across the flagellated movements also. Then we also studied about the muscle, the striated muscle, smooth muscle and cardiac muscle. And also we studied about the mechanism of the muscle contraction, which is very much important for the movement. And we also studied about two very important contractile proteins, namely actin and myosin. They are very important for the sliding movement, and also a theory was put across to explain the mechanism of the muscle contraction, that was the sliding filament theory. And also we studied about the skeletal system, a very important system in our body, which is a supporting system. Imagine if bones were not there, I think we would not have had a particular shape and support. The support and the shape of the body is mainly made possible by the skeletal system, which is again broadly classified into axial skeletal system and appendicular skeletal system. Axial skeletal system consists of total number of bones in our body is 206 bones. And axial skeleton consists of what? The skull, the facial bones, and the vertebral column and the sternum and the ribs. Skull itself consists of 222 bones, which also includes the facial bones also, and the vertebral column with 26 vertebrae, then the sternum, and the 12 pairs of ribs. And also we studied about the appendicular skeleton, which consists of the bones of the forelimbs and the hind limbs. And also we studied about the joints like the synovial joint. Then we studied about the different types of joints like the hinge joint, pivot joint, then the ball and socket joint, gliding joint, all those different types of joints. The disorders of the skeletal system may be like myasthenia gravis or tetany or arthritis, or it might be muscular dystrophy, or it might be osteoporosis, arthritis, and gout. Hope you all have understood all the concepts what I have explained in this particular chapter called locomotion and movement. So in the coming session, I'll be starting off with yet another new interesting and a very important concepts to be learned in the coming session. Till then, goodbye and thank you.